Students, today I am going to give you the long answers. Last class I have given the short answers. Today long answers. So the first question is, discuss how the ideals of Indian Constitution have been manifested in its preamble. So take out your book. Page number 2. Ideals of the Constitution. Second paragraph. That means the last paragraph of the page you see. Third line. In the preamble of the Indian Constitution. Have you got? In the preamble of the Indian Constitution, the main features, that is, ideals and objectives of the Constitution have been described. After this, you come down. Each and every word mentioned in the preamble bears ideals, philosophy and objectives of the Constitution. Every word in the preamble, which is started with the words "We the people of India," bears certain meaning and ideals. It is important to mention that the makers of the Indian Constitution paid due attention to manifest the every aspect of the rich ancient Indian culture and civilization as the guiding principles in the pages of Indian Constitution. The significant words, you come down next to next paragraph. The significant words in the preamble are sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic and republic. All these words reflect the ideals and spirit of the Constitution. Okay, so this is answer number 1. Then number 2, write in details about what is meant by sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic and republic. So these words are explained. From there you have to write. Page number 5. First word is given sovereign. So sovereign, it is in page number 5. Sovereign is the supreme and absolute power of the state. Externally, India is not subordinate to any foreign power, neither India is directed by any other force internally. So this is sovereign. This much you write for sovereign. And when you write, you have to give the heading also, sovereign. Then your next heading will be socialist. So take from here. The word, from the third line you take, the word socialist. Socialist word is not here, so you add. The word socialist signifies that there shall not be inequality among the people of India in regards to their income, status and the standard of living. All the ways and means of production would be nationalized. Socialism should be established through the equal distribution of the national income and the mixed economy. Okay, this is socialist. Those who can write more than this is up to you. You can write more than this also. But thinking of all, I have given you this much. If anyone wants to write everything, you can write. I have no problem. Then secular. Secular, the next point is given secular. India is a secular state. There shall not be any official or state religion in India. In the eye of the government, all the religions are equal. And there shall not be any discrimination among the religions. The government shall not show any special interest to any particular religion. Okay, this is secular. Then democratic. Next point is democratic. India is a democratic state. The administration of the country shall be governed by the elected representatives of the people. The people shall administer the country for themselves, and the administration shall be responsible to the people. And the last point is republic. India is a republic. The head of the state shall be elected by the people. The post of the head of the state shall not be hierarchical nor a selected person by someone. Okay, so this much will be the answer number 2. Then answer number 3. Discuss the objective resolution put forwarded by Pandit Nehru in relation to the Indian Constitution. So Pandit Nehru has put forwarded some resolution. There are 8 points given. So from here you can write any 5 points. You can write all also, it is up to you, but those who cannot remember all the points, at least 5 you have to write. And those who can remember all, you can write all the points. Nothing to make it short. As it is, you can write. Okay. Then number 4, discuss the characteristics of Indian federal system. Indian federal system, you will get in page number 8. Characteristics of Indian federal system. Sixth line from the beginning of the page. Page number 8. 6th line you see. The constituent states of India have no right to desist from the Indian Union. So this can be one point number 1. Then point number 2, the constituent states of the Union of India do not have the provision of a separate constitution for them. And same point you can write, there is only one constitution for the whole Indian Federation, and that is the Constitution of India. That whole thing will be in point number 2. Then point number 3. Though the Constitution has distributed the powers between the central government and the state government, yet all the important powers have been centralized to the union government. This is point number 3. If you want to make it short, you can write only this point also. Just you go up little. After that, there is only one constitution. The central government in India is more powerful than the government of federal states. You can write only this much also. Or those who can, after this you can write, though the constitution has distributed the powers between the central and till union government. Okay. Then next point, the appointment procedure of the governors in the constituent provinces does not corroborate the federal character of India. Alright. And next point can be, the governor performs his role as the representatives of the central government in the state. That will be the last point. So you can number it. First of all, you can number it in your book. Point number 1, the constituent states have no right. That one will be point number 1. Then the constituent states of Indian Union do not have the provision of separate constitution. This is point number 2. Then the central government in India is more powerful than the government of other federal states. This is number 3. But how much I have shown you, that much you will write. Just I am showing you the point. This is point number 3. Then the appointment procedure, point number 4. Then the governor performs the role. This is point number 5. These are the points. Okay. Then next question is, explain the important characteristics of parliamentary form of government in India. So parliamentary form of government, the characteristics of parliamentary form of government, you can write from your class 9 book. Those who have your class 9 book, in page number 18, class 9 book, page number 18. You can take out page number 18 of class 9 book, and there it is given nicely, you can easily remember. There are 2 heads in this system. One is nominal executive, another one is the real or actual executive. Then point number 2, the member of the executive are also the members of the legislature. Point number 3, there is close relationship between legislature and the executive. Point number 4, the council of ministers is responsible to the legislature. And point number 5, collective responsibility of the council of ministers. Or you can write, the council of ministers remains responsible to the legislature. The council of ministers remain responsible to the legislature. So this is question number 5. So with this, I have come to the end of this lesson. Okay. All right. You can stop for today.